I, a simple waitress, was unjustly accused by the restaurant manager on the day of the owner's visit. When I took off my coat to prove I had nothing to hide, what the millionaire saw left me in shock. I arrived at the luxurious restaurant where I worked part-time on a cold and rainy morning. Drenched in my coat with wet hair, I tried to stay warm as I entered through the elegant doors of the establishment. "Good morning," I greeted, trying to convey positive energy despite the gloomy weather. The already arrived staff, including Jade, the arrogant manager who thought she was better than everyone, barely responded to me. To them, I was just a waitress, someone not worthy of attention or respect. Despite the looks of superiority, I was determined, as I knew that job was my only source of income. "Come on, Kelly," I thought to myself. "You just need to endure one more day." I repeated this every day, making it my daily mantra, a way to strengthen myself to face the challenges and hostile atmosphere of the restaurant. Despite the constant pressure and humiliation, I had no intention of giving up. The only person I felt comfortable working with was Angelo, the owner, known for his kindness, a rare exception in the often oppressive environment. That day, there was a special buzz in the restaurant as Angelo was on his way for an inspection and lunch. This left the entire staff, especially Jade, anxious and in a hurry to ensure everything was perfect. "Hey, folks from my Soulful Messages channel. Look, we're a small group, but each one of you is very important in this story. Let's go on this incredible journey together. Subscribe, hit the bell, and be part of this squad full of good energy. Oh, and don't forget to like the video. Let's get back to the story." "Come on, Kelly, hurry up," shouted the manager, ordering me to move faster. "Angelo is almost here, and we want," she said with an authoritarian tone bordering on arrogance. I simply obeyed, organizing plates, adjusting trays, and positioning glasses with precision. I moved efficiently despite the pressure and critical glances. "Wow, you're amazing, Jade," shouted the manager in front of everyone, even though she saw me struggling. I felt humiliated, but I kept my composure. It was clear that Jade was doing everything to belittle me, seizing every opportunity to criticize and shame me in front of colleagues. Moreover, I couldn't imagine what awaited me that day. The encounter with Angelo, a man I respected and admired, would bring revelations that would change my life forever. So I focused on my work, organizing every detail in the upscale restaurant, adjusting tables according to Jade's instructions, while thinking about the millionaire who owned the establishment. Angelo doesn't seem like such a mean guy, I reflected. He always made a good impression the other times he was here. Jade is just a brown-noser, that's all. I remembered the previous visits of the owner, a 56-year-old businessman who, despite his wealth, was surprisingly humble and kind to everyone. During the last visit, he and I had quite a conversation, developing an almost instant connection. There seemed to be an innate familiarity between us, something I attributed to my own humility, reflecting my modest origins and solitary life since losing my mother. At 25, I stood out among the restaurant staff, getting the waitress job purely by luck after my predecessor quit due to pregnancy. Jade, the manager, offered the position more out of necessity, needing a replacement quickly, than out of her own desire. She was a superficial and arrogant woman, clearly looking down on me. In Jade's shallow mind, I didn't possess the beauty required to work in such a refined environment. Jade, always concerned about appearance and status, saw the boss's visit as a golden opportunity not only for her promotion, but also to get rid of me. This visit needs to impress the rich guy, Jade planned, obsessed with the idea of getting a promotion. But there was another plan in her mind, my dismissal. For Jade, I wasn't pretty enough for the luxurious restaurant, and she was determined to find a way to fire me without facing resistance. Jade knew she couldn't fire me for aesthetic reasons, so she plotted a dismissal with cause, something indisputable that would occur in Angelo's presence. "This ugly waitress will leave my restaurant once and for all," thought the cruel woman, devising her plan with a wicked smile. Unfortunately, most of the equally arrogant and presumptuous staff agreed with Jade's perspective. They saw me as someone who didn't fit the establishment's profile and supported the idea of my departure. Unaware of the plots against me, I continued my work with dedication, unaware that this day would bring shocking turns to my life. As the millionaire's limousine parked in front of the restaurant, a frenzy ran through the place. Customers dining there and the staff interrupted their activities, turning their curious eyes to the luxurious entrance. Angelo, with his usual charisma, crossed the hall warmly greeting everyone. "Good afternoon, my friends. Is everything okay?" he asked, radiating an aura of kindness that contrasted with the often pretentious atmosphere of the place. Jade, always seeking attention, quickly stepped forward to welcome him with forced cordiality. "Oh, sir, please follow me. We've reserved the best table," she said, trying to cover her ambition with a fake smile. I, with a tray of glasses in hand, approached to serve the owner, but when I was recognized by him, I felt slightly relieved. Hello, Kelly, it's been a while, huh?" greeted the man with a warm smile. I responded kindly, saying that I would be responsible for serving him that day. However, the conversation was abruptly interrupted by Jade, who announced with fake concern. "Actually, Kelly is off today. We're giving her a break." Both I and Angelo were surprised by the unexpected news. The manager justified, saying that I deserved a break for my hard work. "She's been working for 2 years without a break, and we think she can take some time off," Jade said, practically pushing me out. I felt a bit disoriented and disappointed that I couldn't interact more with the owner. I went to the kitchen to put away my apron, put on my coat, and prepare to leave. Before leaving, however, I decided to say goodbye to Angelo. After all, I didn't know when I would see him again after my vacation. I remembered the previous visits, where, on the first one, I just observed from a distance because I was new to the job, and on the second, when the waiter responsible for serving the millionaire got sick, I, noticing everyone's concern about the businessman's image, didn't mind and replaced the waiter. The way I treated and talked to Angelo that day left such a positive impression that the wealthy man told the manager that whenever he visited his restaurant, he always wanted me to serve him. Jade was furious, but maintained her position. She hated Angelo's preference for me and saw that day's visit as the perfect opportunity to get rid of me. As I gathered my things, I couldn't help but think about the injustice of the situation. I felt grateful for the job opportunity, but Jade's constant hostility and the condescension of other employees weighed on me. Now, suddenly given a break, I felt a mix of relief and sadness. Relief because I was truly tired of my exhausting job, but sadness because Jade could very well have waited to announce my vacation after the owner's visit. With the coat already on, I quickly returned to the hall to say goodbye. My heart was beating fast, a mix of nervousness and expectation for a last interaction with the only person in the restaurant who showed me genuine respect. "Mr. Angelo, I'm leaving. I hope you come more often." "Your presence always does wonders for the restaurant," I said, trying to hide the disappointment of leaving early. The businessman wished me a good vacation, but Jade instructed me to leave quickly. Okay, you can go, Kelly," she said, barely disguising the irritation at the obvious connection between me and the owner. However, when I was about to leave, the situation took an unexpected turn. An employee who had planned against me with the manager rushed into the room with alarming news. "Sorry to bother, Mrs. Jade and Mr. Angelo, but we have a problem. We've been robbed." The employee revealed that about $400 disappeared from the cash register. The accusation echoed through the restaurant, causing a stir among those present. Angelo, surprised by the interruption, was at a loss for the situation. Even I, who was already leaving, stopped to listen and was shocked. It was exactly what Jade wanted. The manager, seizing the moment, turned to me with a disdainful expression. "Wait a minute, Kelly. Were you already leaving like this?" She insinuated something. "What's in your—" "Sorry," she asked. "Do you think I stole from the restaurant?" Jade, acting as if she were outraged, challenged me in front of everyone. "Show us your pockets if you have nothing to hide," she said sarcastically. Feeling humiliated and aware of the woman's antipathy, I began to take off my coat. I didn't steal anything. Angelo watched the scene intrigued, but when I started to check my own pockets, something unexpected happened. Finding the $400 in one of the pockets, I went pale. Before we continue with the story, we want to know. If you were in this waitress's place, what would you do? Tell us in the comments. Now, back to the story. I panicked. I didn't do anything. It wasn't me, I swear. I stammered, eyes wide with fear. Jade, acting as if she were furious, accused me of theft. How could you do this, girl? To us, who gave you? You're really a snake. I always knew you were. I, almost in tears, tried to defend myself, but Jade interrupted me, mocking my situation. So, you're saying someone put that in your... Sorry, she asked. You think I stole from the restaurant? Jade, acting as if she were outraged, challenged me in front of everyone. Show us your pockets if you have nothing to hide, she said sarcastically. Feeling humiliated and aware of the woman's antipathy, I began to take off my coat. I didn't steal anything. Angelo watched the scene intrigued, but when I started to check my own pockets, something unexpected happened. Finding the $400 in one of the pockets, I went pale. Before we continue with the story, we want to know, if you were in this waitress's place, what would you do? Tell us in the comments. Now, back to the story. I panicked. I didn't do anything. It wasn't me, I swear. I stammered, eyes wide with fear. Jade, acting as if she were furious, accused me of theft. How could you do this, girl? To us, who gave you? You're really a snake. I always knew you were. I, almost in tears, tried to defend myself, but Jade interrupted me, mocking my situation. So, you're saying someone put that in your pocket? She said sarcastically. The manager, turning to the millionaire, was ready to deliver the final blow. I think we need to fire her, but she didn't steal anything, said Jade, trying to maintain her narrative. However, Angelo, still shocked, remained silent, looking at me. Mr. Angelo, she called again, realizing he was a bit stunned. The restaurant owner was still without a response, as if he had seen a ghost. With tears in his eyes, he stood up and walked slowly toward me. I, already shaken by the humiliation and desperate at the prospect of losing my job, repeated that I hadn't done anything and pleaded for him to believe me. However, he remained silent, just continuing to walk towards Kelly. Not only me, but everyone present was perplexed by the millionaire's strange reaction. My eyes were filled with tears, reflecting a mix of fear and confusion. The entire restaurant watched the scene, puzzled and curious. What's happening? Why is he like this? They thought, watching Angelo approach her. Then, he gently touched Kelly's arm and, with a trembling voice, asked, "Is this mark? Is it a birthmark?" The seemingly disconnected question from the situation silenced the room. I, surprised by the unexpected question, stopped crying for a moment. I had a birthmark on my arm, but what did that have to do with what was happening? Yes, sir, it is, I replied, still not understanding the man's sudden interest in my mark. Angelo asked another intriguing question. Did your mother also have one? I furrowed my brow as if pondering the answer. Yes, but why this question, Mr. Angelo? Aren't you going to fire me? I asked, my voice filled with emotion. The businessman took a step back, emotions overflowing. Tears were streaming down his face, leaving everyone even more confused. Then, Angelo made a revelation that shocked everyone in the restaurant. I am your father, Kelly. A collective chorus of exclamations filled the room. What? How could a wealthy man like Angelo be the father of a girl like Kelly? Jade couldn't hide her anger, unable to understand how that humble waitress was the daughter of the restaurant owner. The truth behind Angelo and Kelly's story was much more complex than anyone could imagine. He had always been a young rich man, heir to a large chain of luxury restaurants. Christine, on the other hand, was the daughter of the maid in the mansion where Angelo lived. They grew up together, fell deeply in love, and shared a genuine love. Christine, Kelly's mother, had a birthmark on her arm, which Angelo affectionately called the love mark due to its peculiar heart-like shape. They planned to marry, but when Angelo's father found out about their romance, he fired Christine and kicked them out of the mansion because he refused to let his son marry the daughter of a maid. What the rich man didn't know at the time was that Christine was pregnant. Determined to build a family with Christine and raise their daughter together, Angelo told his father about the pregnancy but faced strong resistance. Angelo's father, without mercy, expelled Christine from the mansion, completely disregarding the idea of having a granddaughter. When Angelo returned home that day, he found that his beloved had been expelled. Despite informing his father about the pregnancy and the future granddaughter, the man was cruel, saying, "This is better. At least now she can't ask for child support. I don't want to support a poor girl just because you couldn't take care of yourself." Christine and Kelly faced a life of struggles after being expelled from the mansion, taking refuge in a homeless shelter. Angelo, desperate for not being able to find them due to fear of his father's threats, continued his life, unaware that he had a daughter. Kelly grew up in humble conditions and, at 23, started working as a cleaner in one of her father's restaurants. Unaware of her true identity, at 24, she became a waitress. On that fateful day, the natural connection she felt while talking to Angelo for the first time was not just a coincidence. Fate wanted to reunite father and daughter from the beginning. However, life was cruel to Kelly, taking her mother due to pneumonia just 2 months before. Upon discovering the truth, Kelly and Angelo mourned Christine's death together. Nevertheless, Kelly found a new beginning beside her father. Jade, still in shock and indignant, tried to insist on the theft accusation against Kelly, but the man was not fooled. Demanding to review the security footage, the truth came to light. Jade and her accomplice were immediately fired, and Angelo announced a complete overhaul of the restaurant. He wanted to transform the work environment, seeking individuals who shared the grace and humility of his daughter. Kelly was promoted to manager, recognizing her potential and wanting her to lead his legacy. In the following months, father and daughter spent time together, getting to know each other better and strengthening their bond. Kelly moved into the mansion, where both worked to make up for lost time. Despite the sadness over Christine's death, they kept alive the memory of her love and sacrifice. Together, they revamped the restaurant and other businesses, creating a more welcoming and humane work environment. Learning that, even in the face of adversity and misunderstandings, there is always room for hope and the rediscovery of familial love. And so, the story of Kelly, Angelo, and Christine became an inspiration for everyone who frequented the restaurant, proving that even in the most challenging circumstances, family and true love can overcome any obstacle. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated on more everyday stories. Until next time.